Since more illegal immigrants are rushing the border, more kids are being separated from their parents and temporarily housed in what are essentially summer camps.
The way Fox News covered last week's Trump-made crisis of children being separated from their families at the border was absolutely appalling. That doesn't sound like summer camp to me.
They told me that they were humiliated. They were treated like animals and told that they would never be reunited with their families.
I spoke to some African Americans who say, gosh, the conditions of the detention center are better than some of the projects that I grew up in.
They called those facilities by nicknames, like the dog pound, because it had cages just like kennels for dogs.
If you read the headlines or you watch the evening news today or yesterday or this week at all, it's trade war, it's children in cages. The real big story that affects everybody in America is the success of the president's tax cut package and what it's done for our economy.
Wrong, Mr. Varney. Dead wrong. The reality is that last year marked the worst year for job creation since 2012, according to Trump's own Labor Department. Average workers have seen their wages go down by 3 cents an hour over the past year after adjusting for inflation, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Half of older Americans have no retirement savings, according to the nonpartisan Government Accountability Office.
We're now well on the way to prosperity.
Over 40% of Americans don't have $400 in the bank to pay for an unexpected financial expense like a medical emergency or a car repair, according to the Federal Reserve.
The media does not want you to know this.
As a result of Trump's tax plan, average healthcare premiums will be going up by nearly $2,000, something that you will never, ever hear on Fox News.
Most Americans are not impacted by these staged pictures, by this fake news.
The people who aren't impacted are the people who say,
these aren't our kids, show them compassion. But it's not like he's doing this to the people of Idaho or Texas.
He just wants to make sure we vet who's coming across the border in case it's MS-13 or
Did you see the story about
drugs.
this?
If you're a Trump supporter and you believe this rhetoric about all these people are MS-13, look at all the children and minors and families that they've stopped right now at the border. How many of them are MS-13? How many of them were caught with drugs? You never hear about that, do you? That's very odd, given that President Trump keeps hammering this point.
They're bringing drugs. They're bringing crime.
Where are they? You've got a large applicant pool here to search from, and they're not finding them.
The conservative Cato Institute reports that immigrants, both documented and undocumented, are actually significantly less likely to commit crimes than people born in the U.S. And illegal border crossings have actually been declining since 2014. If Fox News wasn't enough for you, local news stations around the country had to broadcast this must-run segment thanks to Sinclair Broadcast Group.
Our immigration system is undeniably broken, and the discourse around this topic is toxic. While some of the concern is real, a lot of it is politically driven by the liberals in politics and the media.
According to recent polls, 2/3 of Americans oppose the Trump administration policy of separating immigrant children from their families when they cross the border illegally. And 75% of Americans say immigration is good for the country. Young children being separated from their parents is not a liberal issue, it's not a conservative issue, it is a moral issue. You would think the folks at Fox News, who pride themselves on their values of faith and family, would understand that. Well, to be fair, some did.
When did we become the party of child abusers?